What the hell? Oh, we are recording. Okay. Okay, this is a really unflattering light. Check this out. Oh, God. Egads. That's horrible. Blah. What are you going to do, eh? It's the light from my laptop, so it is what it is, guys. Wrinkles and all. Okay, so this was a post that I made on December 21st, 2016. And this is, so obviously 14 months post-diagnosis. And this is where I get into my support system. Besides, obviously, my husband, my friends, my children, so it says, so here's an update on my brain tumor situation. It's still there, sitting quietly and minding its manners. It has never changed, grown, or done anything funky since it was discovered on September 2nd, 2015. I continue to remain asymptomatic, and I am asymptomatic. All of the issues that I have are all related to the injuries from the car accident, including the vertigo, the headaches, all of that. I could, if not for the car accident, if not for the MRIs, I honestly would have no clue that I have a brain tumor. None whatsoever. God, this light is just horrific. That's bad. Okay, so anyway, whatever. It's not a beauty friggin' pageant, is it? Okay, I continue to remain asymptomatic. My family doctor and I had a chat about where we go from here the other day, and his opinion is still the same. That I likely had it since birth. Here I am repeating myself again. Guys, I am so sorry. I did not realize that I had all of this in it. Yeah, so bear with me. That I have likely had it since birth, and would therefore explain the unlabeled seizure disorder I had as a child, and times when I had problems with mood, i.e. depression, anger. He also feels that I have had far too much exposure to radiation from x-rays in the last year and a half, and spent too much time in the MRI tunnel, some for the accident injuries and some for the tumor. He doesn't want me exposed to any more, unless absolutely necessary. So for now, we watch and wait. I know the signs and symptoms to look for, seizure being the most obvious one. Migraine-style headache, loss of balance, right-sided weakness, loss of use, blah, personality changes, etc. Yes, it could turn malignant at any time. Yes, it could start growing at any time. Or not. So now I live. Just live. Be happy and grateful and oh so blessed for the unwavering love and support of my wonderful husband, my beautiful children, and those family members and friends who have stayed by my side throughout this crazy ride. Some people stepped off. It's sad, but there's the reality of who really loves you and who does not. We all know that old adage, when the dust settles and the smoke clears and you look around to see who's still standing there. Those are your people. To those who walked away, oh well, I just hope for your sake that one day you don't have a potentially life-threatening situation arise. To my wonderful warriors. Here we go again. Because of each and every one of you, I was less scared, less alone, and less lost. It can be difficult for people to understand the bone-deep primal fear, primal terror that one feels when potentially facing one's own mortality. And I have to say this, that the car accident, although it caused me, head to toe, constant chronic pain, and there were moments when I wished I would just croak rather than be in so much pain. I'm over-exaggerating. I don't mean that, definitely, but I knew that because I wasn't killed in the car accident, I knew that the car accident injuries were not going to end my life. They were going to make my life very difficult and very painful, but they weren't going to end my life. So it can be difficult for people to understand the bone-deep primal terror one feels when potentially facing one's own mortality. You understand. You all understand. There are not words in any language to express how grateful my heart is for each and every one of you, for tears and fears shared, for goofy jokes laughed at, for just the quiet, virtual hand on your shoulder that says, without saying, I'm here. I will not let you go. Just hang on. I love and cherish the blessing of you all, we total strangers, united by fear, hope, friendship, and love. And I do have to say, I mean, I've made friends all over the planet. I have a lot of friends now in the States that I would take a bullet for, and I've never met them. I don't know them. If I ran into them on the street, I'd probably recognize them because of, profile pictures and whatnot. But I've never met them in person, and I'm likely never to meet them in person. But there is that bond there, I think, that forms between people that are, sort of united by this thing. So it's Christmas time again. Never will I forget this time last year. And of course I'm speaking of Christmas 2015, when it was just, months after diagnosis. The most profound memory I have is me buying a Christmas tree and sobbing uncontrollably as I truly believed this to be my last Christmas. To the man who helped me get it in my truck, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I couldn't even tell you what he looked like. I was crying so hard I couldn't even look at him. I was so embarrassed. He must have thought I was some kind of nutcase. Bless your heart, sir. This year, I'm alive and I'm well. A Christmas I thought I'd never see. And my beautiful husband is alive, after having suffered 3 simultaneous strokes on May 15th, 2016. Some stepped off with him as well. It's very, very sad and disgusting, but oh well. No one needs toxic people in their life. And I should interject here and say that there was, some family dynamic stuff going on there that has since resolved, and everything is fine. So now we live and love and celebrate the pure joy of breathing. Bless you all this magic season with love and gratitude from our household to yours. So that's a very sort of triumphant, it ain't knocked me down yet. I'm still here. So, yeah, that's pretty much the brain tumor story so far. And again, it's still just sitting there doing nothing. I continue to remain asymptomatic, and the reason I'll get into this later again. You watch, I'm going to repeat myself again when I start, now we start talking about my husband's issues with the strokes and whatnot. And I really believe that the car accident was a blessing in disguise, because, and everyone did, as I said, I'm looking in the hello. My own doctor said, it's a blessing in disguise. I mean, had you not been in the accident, we wouldn't have found the tumor, blah, blah, blah. It could have killed you, and you wouldn't known. And I truly believed that. And I remember I kept thinking, but there's more to it. There's something more to it. And when my husband had the strokes, it was a Sunday morning in May 15th, 2016, and it was snowing. Yes, people, sometimes it does snow in May in Canada. Not often, but sometimes it does. So it was snowing, and it was freezing friggin' cold out, obviously. So he had gotten up that morning, he took the dog for a walk, and then he came home. When we had every once in a while up here in our rural, area, they do a hydro sort of upgrade, kind of whatever thing. And they usually try to do it maybe twice a year, and they usually try to do it like a Sunday morning, or, whatever, when, most people aren't getting up to go to work, so it's not really going to disrupt people's lives too much. And we knew that there was a hydro upgrade being done that morning, and had totally forgotten about it. So we're on an artesian well here, so we have a pump. And if the hydro's out, the pump doesn't work, the well doesn't work, so you can't flush the toilet, you can't, so usually what we do is the lake is, you can spit down the hill to the lake, so he'll go down there with a couple of buckets and fill them up, and then at least you can dump water in the toilet to flush the toilet. Life of the country, guys, it's heaven. Wouldn't trade it for all the world. So anyways, we had completely forgotten about it. When he woke up, he was like, you know, what's the deal? Why is power out? And then he remembered and he thought, oh, for shit's sakes, I was still sleeping. And so the dog was dying for a pee. He took her for a walk, and apparently he was gone for about an hour. When he went down the road, he ran into a neighbor, and they chatted for a few minutes, and him and the dog just kind of, you know, went for a bit of a longer walk, and then came home, and then he thought, you know, I'm going to run into town and get us a coffee, because there's no hydro, you can't boil the kettle, right? And then he thought, you know what, why don't I go down to the lake first and get water, so that at least when the wife gets up and she wants to go to the bathroom, she can flush the toilet, right? So thank God, because it was while he was down at the lake getting the water that the first stroke hit. And then the stupid fool drove himself back up the hill in the middle of the second stroke, and the third stroke hit in the driveway. So, and we'll get into that in much more detail in, I think, the next video. But had I not been in the car accident, and it didn't occur to me for probably months even after he had the strokes, it just suddenly occurred to me one day, and I thought, wait a minute, was that my weekend to work? Because in this business, you work every other weekend. I mean, suck it up, buttercup. It doesn't matter if you've been doing it for 35 years. You work every other weekend. Nursing home, hospital, you know, home care, doesn't matter. You are obligated to work every other weekend. So, you know, I got to thinking about it, and I thought back and checked back in my calendar. And had I not been in the accident the previous May and been taken off of work the previous October, on Sunday, May 15th, 2016, I would have been at work. I would have been an hour and a half away, and he would have been here alone. And had he been alone, he would not be here today. There would have been no way that he would have been able to, you know, by the time the third stroke hit, there would have been no way that he would have been able to call for help. And I would have been, you know, I mean, we would text throughout the day or whatever. I'm sure at some point in the morning I would have texted and been like, can you imagine this weather? My God, what's, you know, and I would have gotten no answer, and I would have tried again and got no answer, and tried calling and got no answer. And I would have, you know, quite quickly, I would have been contacting the office and saying, you know, listen, I've been trying to get a hold of my husband at home. I can't get a hold of him. This is completely not, this isn't normal. This is not, you know, usual stuff. And I'm going to need to go. You're going to need to cover the rest of my people for the day, because something's wrong. I need to go home. And I would have come home and probably found him deceased in the car in the driveway. Yeah. So anyhow, so that's about that, guys. And I can't really think of anything else to add right now. I've done so much crying in the last hour and a half that I've done. I don't know. Remember I said about how I'm on I was going to say antibiotics. Good Lord, antidepressants, and it doesn't allow me really, you know, to cry as much as I used to, for which I am grateful, but it is sometimes good to just, you know, have a good cry. So, thanks for watching me ugly cry, and I love you all, and be well, be safe, and I will see you again in my next video, okay? Mwah.